Welcome to Unleash on Beat. I'm here with T the Man. T, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Sandra? How was your holiday? Your Memorial
You,
holiday?
you know what? It was productive because I've been working all week, so it was the one day that I had an opportunity to run around and get some things done inside and outside the house. I know that you all had a nice holiday in Florida.
It was good for a while. We had some friends to come and visit us, but what happened was the air conditioning went out, so that made it different.
Yeah, that's always a bad thing in the summertime. It doesn't matter what part of the country you're in. If it's hot outside and your air conditioner don't work, it's a problem. But you know what? We've been off for a few weeks. We've been, quite busy in our personal lives. But we want to kind of pick up with the NBA basketball. I guess there's some controversy with Beyonce's Beehive, Nicole Curran, who's the wife of the Golden State Warrior, has been threatened by the Beehive. Apparently, she invited Jay and Bay to come to the game. They're sitting there, on the floor with her. She leans over and is talking to Jay-Z about his drink, what he would like in his drink. And the Beehive went crazy and started threatening the woman. T, what is wrong with them? I mean, you know what? I'm usually with the Hive, but this don't make no sense. Really?
See, this is what happens when you look at things on social media and you don't have the full contents of what is going on. So she's sitting there talking. Her husband is sitting next to her. She's having a conversation. They're invited guests. You just don't sit on the floor because you're there and they say Jay-Z's a billionaire. So is her husband. I just want to put it out there like that. So, if her husband doesn't want Beyonce and Jay-Z to be in his building and watch his team at his facility, they're not going to watch it. They'll be somewhere else watching it. So, of course, the Beehive, they go crazy. And they talking about she trying to talk up on, lean on front of Bay and, listen, use some civility here. She's sitting there, they're trying to have a conversation. Beyonce wasn't worried about him. She wasn't doing anything appropriate. The only people acting appropriate was the Beehive. So like get a life, wait till you hear all the facts before you start coming and jumping on somebody. Who y'all need to be jumping on is some people over there who went to visit the Queen, how they disrespected somebody.
Oh my God! You know what? we are going to have to talk about that. But Aisha Curry also she was the subject of some lewd comments made. There was a reporter out, asking people out there in Canada about the game and everything, and this guy jumps out and says something very lewd about Steph.
I know exactly what he said, and usually these people they get paid by the shock jock radio stations to do that, to say that profane thing, because it's live and they know it's live. You can't edit it. So that's why they do it. And reporters go there, these people look, say, hey, what do you think? And then they go ahead and say it. They position themselves so that they can say this and they get a kick out of it. So the next morning, that radio station, whoever this guy said this for, he is called in and he's talking about a wonderful thing he did by being so ignorant.
I wonder, did the radio station post his bond?
No,
Are they gonna pay for his
they got laughs out of it. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I mean, there's no age that any of that kind of behavior is appropriate. It's ridiculous. And you know what? I mean, these people, they should, enjoy the game and not say stuff like that, about anybody's wife, I mean, or anybody's girlfriend or anybody, period, I mean, it's just stupid.
Well, they got lack of respect for the woman. They got lack of respect for their own self, because only a fool that's ignorant would go say something like that. You wouldn't want nobody to say that to your mother, your grandmother, your aunt, your daughter, or your sister. It just, you just don't say those kind of things. I'm not going to repeat what he said.
Yeah, we're not going to, yeah. I don't even want to say anything.
I acted out with a reporter, and the same thing has happened. And the person they did it was for a well-known, famous radio shock jock from New York.
Mm-hmm.
So, you try to screen these people out. Stick to the little kids and the old ladies. These young guys, you never know what's going to come out their mouth.
Yeah, drank a lot of beer and had a lot of fun at the game, and then came out. Somebody, I guess, paid them or something to be crazy. But T, you know what? It's time to barbecue. It's time for people to go out to the parks. We just had, Memorial Day. That's kind of the unofficial start of summer. Of course, me being down south, summer started, back in February. I mean, but off and on, little summer, little winter.
Okay.
So, there was this Black couple. They were in Starkville, Mississippi. So that just lets you know what the deal was. And they were out and they wanted to have a picnic. And a white woman who is, I guess, works for the park district came out there and pulled a gun on them and told them they had to leave, that they did not have, you have to have reservations. I'm going to tell you something. They videotaped it. Of course, it's gone viral. I really get tired of these stories. I get tired of these people, treating, Black people like they're gonna, kill them if they don't hurry up and, leave their white spaces,
Well, this has been going on some time, and now it's been exacerbated by Donald Trump saying that it's okay. And, I don't, I guess, I guess one way of dealing with it is to just educate these ignorant ass people. That's it. And this woman was arrested, I believe. They needed.
She was first fired, and now she has been arrested.
Right.
And out on $500 bond.
Well, arrest her, take away her guns, and and the next time when she sees somebody of color out there in the park, she just needs to shut her mouth. I mean, it's just like the same school teacher tweeting at Trump, talking about she has illegal immigrants in her school. School district fired her.
He thought that when she tweeted that only he could see it. I can't believe she's a teacher.
Well, she got a degree from Trump University. I mean, what did you expect? I don't know how they certified her, but that's what you got to do.
Yes. I just, I was speechless about her, and I'm glad that she's being vilified, because she put her phone number out there. And now everybody can see her phone number. And I'm sure, that somebody just called up the phone company and told them, maybe change the number or something. I'm not sure. I mean, because she put her phone number out there on Twitter. What an idiot.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I wish she thought she was being a good patriot.
Well, you know what? She was agreeing with Donald Trump. Racist.
Just like the Nazis did in the 1940s. Oh, we got a Jewish girl living here in the attic. Oh, here, go ahead and tell the Gestapo that she's up there. Oh, we got little immigrant children in here, undocumented. Go tell, so they can come and just walk in class.
Yeah, she said she's called, and she but she says, they fire people who are whistleblowers. I mean, you know what? It's not so much what you do, it's the spirit in which you do it in. And it's just really, sad that she was a teacher.
When you have an unjust law, you don't have to follow it. This immigration thing that they have is an unjust, immoral law. This isn't now about, you got an innocent child who has, through no fault of their own, are here in this country. Just like me and you born here, through no fault of our own, we are here in this country.
We could have.
So now you want to punish me through the actions of somebody else, and let's play it out there. These white folks stole the country. It ain't even really their country to begin with, and but they want to exercise domain over about who should be here. If anybody, and I'm gonna say it again, we said it before on there. If you are Hispanic, you have more of a right to be here in Texas than I do, or than you have to be. So, you know what? I'm glad she lost her damn job. And I hope it be years that she get another one. Let her do something, that's meaningful for society, like pick up dead carcasses off the roadway or something.
Yeah, well, she looks like she might have had a little roadkill.
Well, you know what? Go to the little private charter schools that's run by the Proud Boys and
they not gonna hire her trifling, but she's just too trifling. You know, I'm gonna tell you one good story that we could just hit on is that they're kind of rallying behind the woman who they fired, who paid for this boy's or gave this boy free lunch and lied about it. You know, they're rallying behind her, but you know, it's just it's you know the story is complicated because she was hitting the boy up in his in his message on Facebook, telling him not to tell about the free lunch and everything. So I don't know, it's complicated. I'm gonna tell you something. These teachers are out here, they're educating our children, and I'm really concerned because a
the
lot of these
cafeteria
people
lady
are
was sitting there trying to help out a kid that she knew was poor, and so she was saying, like, we've been to school. We know there's going to be leftovers, and the leftovers, either the worker's going to take it home or they're going to throw out. So now you have a poor child that's actually hungry, who parents can't afford to pay his 35 cents a day. Or maybe his mom was on drugs, or his daddy's non-existent. Whatever it was a financial situation. So she did it. So what would be the worst she can do is that she maybe had to pay the cost of the 35 cents a day. But
you know what, T, I feel the same way. But what happens though is that it's not so much the crime; it's the cover up. She was lying. Then she was trying to get the boy to lie. You know, it just you know what?
Yeah, I get it.
If you was righteous in what you felt like what you did, then you don't have to trip about it. You don't have to try to tie your story in with the boy hitting him up on Facebook and his DM. You know. So that's why it got complicated for her. You know, as much as, you know, I feel like, you know, it shouldn't have been a big deal when she crossed that line and decided to, you know, try to cover it up. That's when everything goes awry.
Well, she had well-meaning intentions, but it didn't turn out that way. And when you're talking about cover-ups and stuff like that, you want to hold everybody else to a higher standard. And then you got the man sitting up there at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and don't want to hold him to no kind of standard. So,
but that's what's sad is that we hold the lunch lady to a higher standard than we do the guy in the White House. That's
sad. That's really is sad. Yeah. And her intentions was to do good.
Exactly. I remember the lunch ladies in St. Nick's, man. They could make a mean sloppy Joe.
I look forward to sloppy Joes and chocolate milk.
Man, what you talking about?
Sloppy Joes was the chocolate milk was an extra 5 cents.
Okay.
Hey, my daddy gave me a dime, so I got 2 of them.
Burgers too, man. We had some good burgers too, bro.
Oh yeah, they did. You know,
good burgers.
All you got was ketchup and mustard. I just stuck with the ketchup on mine.
I probably went for both. You know, then you could buy another half sandwich. You know.
Yeah. If I bought a half sandwich, it's because I gave somebody a quarter. That you get a half sandwich and you get a half sandwich, so I got it full.
Yeah. So you know what? Today, there was breaking news. You know, there's breaking news ever since this administration's been in office. I mean, there's breaking news every day, all day. Every time you turn the TV on, it's breaking news. Are you kidding me? But today they released the voicemail of John Dowd talking to Mike Flynn's lawyer, leaving him a very cryptic, mobbish message regarding, you know, what it is that the Trump administration was concerned about, and talking about, if you've turned state's evidence, then it's a national crisis, a national security crisis, and we need to know. Did you hear the tape, man?
I didn't hear the tape. I'm not surprised by it, though. I mean, why would I be surprised? Trump, he's a lightweight gangster. He figured that he's in bed with these Russians, and so he can do what he wants. Nobody got to answer to him. Fools put him up in there, and now it's becoming a problem for these so-called Republicans, because at some point he's going to screw them too.
Well, you know what? They're already a little bit upset with him. I mean, about the tariffs that he might is going. Well, I think he's.
Why would they be upset from Donald Trump, who graduated from Penn with a degree in economics? He says he's very, very smart. Now everybody else knows that tariffs are passed on to the consumer, except for him. obviously he thinks that Mexico is paying for these tariffs. You know what? Listen, this is the 21st century. You know what? There are boats that can go to Mexican ports. They can go to Canada. They can go other parts of the world. They don't have to come to the U.S. Now, GM, Ford, and Chrysler, and whoever it is that making their car parts in Mexico, y'all didn't learn the last time. You not need to make your cars in Mexico unless you're going to make it for the Mexican economy. If you're going to make it for the American economy, don't make your cars in Mexico. Do like BMW, Mercedes does, and all they do. They make their cars in the U.S. And they only use it for a U.S. consumer. That way, when we act in food and they cut the cars off, they still get their money over there in Germany. They still get their money over there in Japan.
Yeah, and it's all smart anyway, because I mean, the standards that we have for Mercedes-Benz are different than the standards that they have over in the UK for Mercedes-Benz.
Well, let me put it like this. Most of our BMWs and Mercedes ain't riding on the Autobahn. So I'm gonna tell you right now.
That's right. So we don't have to meet that.
If you driving down an American highway and you doing like 100 and you can do 105. If you doing 85, you're gonna get pulled over.
We're going too slow.
No, you're gonna get pulled over for going too fast. Now the Autobahn has no speed limit on it, but here in the roads in America, the ones with the potholes.
Oh man, if you see somebody, I've seen people do 85 here in Atlanta, and when they do, it's really scary because everybody's already on 75. I mean,
and the speed limit is 70. So you're doing 70, 75, 80, but 85. I mean, I found that out the hard way.
Yeah, you did. You did. Yeah. I learned about it a little bit in a different way. Years ago, I was coming from Chicago, and I was living here in Georgia, but I was going to Alabama first, and then come here, and I got 2 tickets on the way to Alabama from Chicago.
Well, all I'm going to say is, for me, is that when they fine me 250 and then fine me another 250, I realized I need to adhere to the law in the state of Georgia and any other state I pass through. You ain't got to teach me but one time.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, those 2 tickets that I accumulated cost me almost $500. And you ain't got to tell me. I mean, I put cruise control on just going to the grocery store. I can't trust it, bro.
my last trip back through the state of Georgia, the speed limit said 70 miles an hour. I went no faster than 74.
Okay. I mean, because they're supposed to give you 5, but I can't trust it. So
no, I went 74 and I was on the lookout.
Exactly, because they want their money, man.
And I gotta admit, the cop, he gave me a choice, and here's what my choices was. The choice was I could pay it online, I could mail it in, or I could go to the courthouse and pay the fine then. So I asked him, where was the courthouse? And he said about 30 miles west of, we was on I-75. And I said to myself, here I am in southern Georgia, a free black man, and he want me to go 35 miles west into southern Georgia to pay a speeding ticket. And it'd be my luck, I walk into a courtroom with a cracker judge with Trump behind him and a Confederate flag on one side and an American flag on the other. What do you think would have happened? They would have said, why did you do that? I didn't go to school to be stupid. So I said, officer, I think I'll pay it online. He said, okay, drive and obey the laws of the state of Georgia. I said, I will. And that's what I did. Because you know what? I'm going to say like this. If you are free, stay free. Don't risk your freedom doing stupid stuff. That's all I got to say.
I paid online. I was just happy because, sometimes these little places you get a ticket, they actually want you to come back to court. They don't care.
Listen, I wasn't going to take the chance. I wasn't going to take the chance on Judge Harlan, Bibi Bob, Beatty, whatever his name would have been.
If I can pay it online, that's always best.
That's right. All you want is the money. You get your money and I get to go out there without humiliation.
Exactly.
Because, he might have want to teach me a lesson. And I
Yeah,
got a learning disability.
yeah. So sometimes, yeah. Sometimes they hate on us just because we from up north. Real
Hmm.
tough.
Being black from up north,
Oh yeah, it's not a good thing.
not a good thing.
So listen. 45 is over there in London, and he brought his whole family with him. He didn't. I don't think he brought his youngest son though, did he? I didn't
No,
see
I
him.
heard he didn't bring Sir Baron because
Okay.
he's, well, I guess the excuse they're going to use is that he had school and they couldn't take him out. But listen, there's something wrong with that boy. And I don't want to talk about nobody's kids, but he's special. And I mean, any other child that with the parents is going to London to meet the Queen, this is something he can go do show and tell with. But I guess he couldn't. I don't know. Maybe he.
Well, you know what? I mean, the schools at home are they probably just getting out this week, right?
If they getting out, but you know what? He got some. Listen, he has a nanny, somebody there watching him, and I know they have them
Yeah,
signed
I
up.
mean,
And I'm
but
school.
he's also a tween. He can be left alone, and he's got security. So
No, no, no. You said you can look at that child and know there's something special
Oh,
about him.
I'm not. Hey, listen, I'm not.
I mean, he's
You know,
ADHD, whatever it is,
they
typical
say that Donald is not close
hyperactive.
to him, and they
You
say that
know,
Donald is jealous of him because he's getting tall as Donald Trump is getting, and he's only like 13. He said Donald Trump is jealous of people who are taller than him. He's such a
really.
petty person.
Well, he ain't on a whole lot of
This
black
trip
folks.
has been a total disaster for Donald Trump representing us here in America. I mean,
Listen, he don't.
it is so much. We don't even have time. But I mean, over there tweeting, talking bad about people here in the United States, you know, just telling lies. The people out there protesting, he's talking about that they're out there, they're not protesting him, that, they're out there cheering for him. Saying that there was a very small amount of people that were, upset with him. I mean, he's just been,
Yeah,
talking stuff.
I guess when it's 10,000, is always very small for him. When they protesting against him. But if they were out there cheering him, he would have said huge crowds, huge crowds. So
Yeah.
listen, Trump's a
Well,
liar. You can't believe it and give him any credibility on what he said. So we know what is true, that they protested against him. And I listen, I like to be the fly on the wall when the Queen went to bed at night, and she probably said, "Oh my God, that Trump is so disgusting." That was a mistake. And as you notice, that Harry, he didn't even want to be in no picture with him. He didn't want to be seen near him.
well, he called his wife nasty. He had a couple of horrible interviews. He had an interview with a tabloid, and he had an interview with Piers Morgan. And I mean, the way he has, they celebrated D-Day, and the way that he has treated this whole celebration has just been just horrible.
He's a sick, narcissistic sociopath. So, of course, he thinks D-Day should have been about him because he's the president. Listen, it used to be kids want to grow up and say, as a place of honor, be the president, but not no more. And I just want to say this with this Golden State Warriors and Raptors series. If the Raptors win, here's the good point about it. They don't have to go to the White House. They can go to the Canadian and have get their prime minister to congratulate them on a win. So it's a win-win, the way I look at it.
Yeah, well, you know what? It was tough for Stephen and them last night.
That's one game. They'll be back tomorrow.
But yeah, if we get people that are sick come back and play, maybe things will turn around. But yeah, the Trump administration, they brought Melania. They were talking about the way they were dressed, how she was being fashionable, and Donald Trump looked like an idiot, and that somebody should have dressed him. I just don't think Melania cares anymore. There are reports out that she basically lives with her parents in Maryland, which is close to Barron's school. She really doesn't stay in the White House for real. So you know what, things are falling apart around Donald Trump, but I think he's really a poor representation of you know, going over there in Britain, and then wanting the guy to meet him at his golf place, and then meeting him at the executive room at the airport. You know, I'm like, you know, it's just these are such I mean, it's just so many things that he has done this trip. It's been crazy, and now his sons are out bar hopping.
Yeah, well, you know, at the taxpayers' expense, you know, I wish we could sue him and make him pay the money back. Speaking
Yeah,
of,
Tiffany went. Her and her boyfriend went somewhere last month and spent about 25 grand on liquor.
yeah, yeah. You know what? When they ain't got to pay for it, they'll spend it. But if they got to pay for it, they ain't gonna be spending that money. And they so
Well, they can
called.
drink some of that Trump wine. Why don't they bring their own wine? Didn't Trump make wine too?
Did you see this on sale at Trader Joe's? I haven't seen it. I haven't even seen it on sale at Aldi's. Where
I'm
is it
gonna tell
at?
you something. If it was on sale, I mean, you know what? I've seen a few things of Trump's on sale. Like when you go to Macy's, you'll see like the remnant sale, you know, and it'll be over there with all the junk stuff, you know. And I've seen it in like Ross, you know. You know, it's like
Well, maybe the dollar store will get it. Dollar Tree will get it.
yeah, it'd be at the alleys, you know. Yeah, that's why I see like, you know, the Trump sheets, you know, the bedspreads, the hotel.
Right. It should be Trump sheets
Yeah.
with porn star stains.
Ooh. Okay.
All right. You know, speaking of changing of sheets and stuff, Paul Manafort is been in the nights in Rikers Island, a real
Well, you know what?
in solitary confinement.
Well, you know what? He's actually blessed. He's, you know, they treat them special in Rikers.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know. He gonna be happy to get back to that federal prison. They say.
Well, I'm sure he is. But you know what? You got somebody like AOC out there saying that he shouldn't be in isolation. That we should stop. Yeah, I was, you know.
Well, she's saying because isolation is a mental health issue and it's like torture and it causes him to go crazy. But he better keep his ass right where he's at, so for his own safety.
Well, they got him in Rikers right now, and you know, it's been said that, you know, this.
I don't know why they're keeping him Rikers unless they're bringing him to trial. If they're not bringing him to trial, you know.
Well, they said that this might be in an effort to kind of break him a little bit because, you know, he knows a little bit more than he's.
Well, listen. Well, good luck with that.
I mean, you know, these are government tactics, you know.
Yeah. Well, you look like
not
he's
street justice
before he breaks.
So,
you know.
So that's what, you know, one of the pundits, you know, wondered that aloud, and I was like, well, you know, I mean, it could be any and all of that. Who knows? So Harry has been avoiding taking any pictures with Donald Trump because Donald Trump, on the way to Britain, called his wife nasty.
Yep, I heard that, you know. And he wasn't saying, as Trump explained, I wasn't saying that she's nasty, like she dirty and filthy. I was saying nasty, like she had a nasty attitude. That's the way he wants to explain it, because she basically told the truth about him and said, you know,
she spoke that in 2016. She said that if he got elected, that she was gonna move to Canada.
Well, she went even further. She went back to the mother country. She actually went back to England. So
yeah.
Kudos for her, you know. And I'm telling you, boy, if Canadians had a prime minister like Trump, they would probably say, I'm gonna leave and go to America or I'll go to London. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, T, you know, man, it's been a good show, good getting back. You know, we just been kind of busy and everything, but you know, I'm just glad to check in with everybody, and hopefully next time, you know, we'll see Sharon. You know, we'll see us at the house. You know,
sounds good. Everybody's going through trials and tribulations, and they got personal things going on in our lives, and it's challenging. You know, you know some of the things I'm going through. So
we'll get through it, and we'll be back.
And it's challenging for me, you know. And I just want to say this and put this out there. Sometimes people are well-meaning and you ask them for advice and they don't give you the proper words that can really help you. All I can say like that. And it's like, you say somebody, you say like, oh, wow, you know, my car broke down, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do. And the answer to them is, did you call a mechanic? Yeah, I called a mechanic, but the problem is I ain't got money to fix the car and with the mechanic. You know, if you know a way to fix it cheaper, that's what the answer I'm looking for. Not that I call a mechanic, you know. So I'm just gonna put like that. You know, that's a simplified answer to a question, but that's what kind of answers you get, you know. Like I turn on the switch, you know, the light don't come on. And they say, oh, did you try the bulb? You know, it's like they had an epiphany, like the bulb must be out. No, the switch ain't working. I got to call an electrician or the breaker is gone. You know, there's
Okay.
another problem between the simplified answer that you just gave me. That's all I want to say. Okay.
All right, bro.
So I got that off my chest. I feel better now.
All right. You know, I'm gonna lean with you, rock with you, bro. You know,
All right.
you know.
Okay. So
That
this
light
is
to make you pay your bill. You know? That could be another.
yeah, you know what? Let me tell you, yeah, that's another thing. If you see all your neighbors' lights on and your lights are off, two things is happening. A, you didn't pay your bill, or B, electricity is not coming to your house. And it won't come to your house if you don't pay your bill.
Oh, absolutely. It will stop.
So check that first. And if you paid your bill, electricity hasn't come to your house, I'm going to give you some advice that I use myself. It's time to call an electrician. In fact, call an electric company and say, hey, electricity ain't coming to my house and I got all my breakers on. Can you come and check out and see what's on the line? And you might find a dead squirrel to show it out the line or something.
That can also be a fact as well.
Right, you know. So, but yeah. So anyway, this is T the Man, and for S Hacker and Sandra Tucker, thank you for tuning in to Lee Street Beat. Until next time, stay safe and please help one another. See you later. Bye-bye.